When your baby cries the moment you put them down, do you actually know what they're trying to tell you? Yes, it's exhausting, but behind that sudden cry, there's something deeper that most parents miss. It's one of the most misunderstood signals a baby can send. And if you misread it, which most parents do, you could be missing what your baby has been trying to say since the day they were born. Let's start with what that moment actually means. 1. It was never about being held, so why does your baby cry the second you set them down? Most parents assume it's simple. Babies want attention, you put them down, they protest, end of story. But here's the thing. Babies are wired with hundreds of survival behaviors, and crying the moment they're set down isn't one of them by accident. It's specific, it's targeted, and it's rooted in something far older than parenting itself. Because being put down isn't just losing a hug. To a baby, it's losing the only thing they've ever known. And by the way, if your baby ever suddenly stops doing this, don't celebrate too quickly. We'll get into what that really means at the end, and it's something most parents don't realize until much later. For 9 months, your baby lived in a world where they were never alone, never cold, never still. Your heartbeat was their soundtrack. Your movement was their cradle. Your warmth was the only temperature they had ever known. And then, in a single day, all of it disappeared. Researchers call the first 3 months of life the fourth trimester. Your baby's nervous system isn't ready for the outside world yet. Their senses are overwhelmed. Their reflexes are immature. Their entire biology is still expecting the womb. So when you hold them, they feel something close to home. And when you put them down, they don't feel rejected. They feel lost. A study published in Current Biology found that infant heart rates drop dramatically when they are carried by a parent. Not when they're fed. Not when they're rocked. When they're carried. The simple act of being held against a body, any body that feels like yours, regulates them at a level nothing else can match. That's not clinginess. That's biology. 2. They can't tell where you went. Have you ever noticed that your baby seems calm, even smiling, right up until the moment you set them down? That's not a trick. It's a developmental gap most parents have never been told about. For the first 6 to 8 months of life, babies don't have what psychologists call object permanence. When you walk out of the room, you don't exist anymore. When you set them down, you don't exist anymore. The version of you they trust, the warm, breathing, moving body that has been their entire world, is suddenly gone. And here's what makes it even harder. Your baby doesn't know it's temporary. They don't have the cognitive ability to understand that you'll come back in 5 minutes. To them, every time you put them down, you have vanished forever. And every time you pick them back up, it feels like a miracle. That cry you hear isn't manipulation. It isn't a habit. It's a baby experiencing what they believe is the end of everything safe. If this is making you see your baby differently, hit that subscribe button. It's the best way to help us reach more parents who actually want to understand what their baby is really telling them. 3. Their cortisol is rising the moment they leave your arms. Here's something most parents are never told. The transition from being held to being put down isn't just emotional, it's chemical. When your baby is in your arms, their body produces oxytocin, the bonding hormone. The same hormone that floods your system when you hold them. Oxytocin slows their heart rate. It calms their breathing. It tells their entire nervous system that they are safe. The second you set them down, that oxytocin drops, and in its place, cortisol begins to rise. Cortisol is the stress hormone. It's the same chemical that floods your body when you're scared, anxious, or in danger. A study from Notre Dame found that infants left to settle alone showed elevated cortisol levels for hours after their crying stopped. Not minutes. Hours. Their bodies were still in a state of distress long after they had gone quiet. This is why the cry feels so urgent, why it pulls at something deep in you. Because your baby's body is genuinely sounding an alarm. They're not trying to ruin your evening, they're trying to bring you back. 4. Your touch is their entire regulation system. Adults have 100 ways to calm themselves down. We breathe slowly. We take a walk. We talk to a friend. We tell ourselves it's going to be okay. Your baby has none of that. Babies are born without the ability to self-regulate their emotions. The part of the brain that handles emotional regulation, the prefrontal cortex, isn't even close to developed at birth. It won't be fully formed until they're in their 20s. So when your baby feels overwhelmed, they have exactly one tool: you. This is called co-regulation. Your nervous system literally lends itself to your baby's. Your steady breathing teaches their breathing to slow. Your calm heartbeat teaches their heart to settle. The pressure of your body against theirs sends signals to their brain that the world is safe. Without you, they don't have the equipment to come back down. So when you put them down and they cry, they're not just missing your presence. They're missing the only nervous system that knows how to regulate theirs. 5. They are calling you, not crying at you. There's a subtle difference most parents never notice. The cry your baby makes when you put them down isn't the same as their hungry cry. It isn't the same as their pain cry. It's specific. It has a shape. Researchers studying infant vocalizations have identified what's sometimes called the contact cry. It's shorter, more rhythmic. It has pauses. Because your baby is listening for a response. They cry, then they stop. They wait, then they cry again. That's not random. That's communication. In every other mammal species that carries their young, the infant has a specific call to bring the mother back. Primates do it. Marsupials do it. Even baby elephants have a call meant only for their mother. Human babies have one too, and you're hearing it. Once you start listening for it, you'll never hear that cry the same way again. It's not a complaint, it's a question. The question is, are you still there? 6. The crib feels like outer space. Think about what a crib actually is from your baby's perspective. A flat, still surface. Cool sheets. Open air on every side. No movement. No heartbeat. No warmth. For a baby who spent 9 months in constant motion, surrounded on all sides, warm and snug, the crib isn't a comfort. It's a sensory void. This is why so many parents discover that their baby will sleep peacefully in their arms, in a carrier, in the car seat, anywhere with motion and pressure, and then wake the second they're transferred to a flat mattress. It's not because the baby is being difficult. It's because their entire sensory system was built for one environment, and the crib is the opposite of that environment in every possible way. The cry you hear when you set them down isn't really about the bed, it's about the suddenness of the contrast. One moment they're held inside the only world that has ever felt safe. The next moment they're floating in space. 7. And one day they'll stop. This is what I mentioned at the beginning, and it's the part most parents wish they had understood sooner. If your baby cries every time you put them down, it can feel like it will never end. But it does end. Sometime between 6 and 12 months, the crying starts to fade. They learn that you come back. They develop the ability to hold you in their mind, even when you're out of sight. They begin to regulate themselves, just a little, then a little more. And one day, you'll set them down, and they won't cry. They'll look up at you, blink, and turn their attention to something else. And you'll feel something complicated, relief, and a small, quiet ache. Because that cry, the one that has woken you up, exhausted you, broken your heart 100 times, was never just a cry. It was the sound of a baby who only knew one thing for certain in this entire world, that you were the safest place they had ever been. So the next time your baby cries, the moment you put them down, try to hear it differently. They're not trying to make your life harder. They're not manipulating you. They're not spoiled. They're just telling you, in the only language they have, the most beautiful thing a person can say to another person. I need you. Please come back.